commercial agriculture and innovation. We continue the topic for tonight in our discussion of the point. What are the best agriculture innovation approaches that can boost export trade? I appreciated the submission of our guests, and specifically for Paul Rukundo, who was referring to the missing link or the existing gap of what we are producing in the country that is failing to match with the required standard of the agricultural products that are demanded highly on the market, both in the region and also globally. It is a debt, dear Ugandans outside there, that we should go with. And it's not the first time. The other time we had a complaint against Kenya that was not appreciating some of our products. And of recent, I would like to also make this commentary. We were able to access the ongoing business, the transactions at Nakasero market, and it seems the importation, the inlet of the tomatoes, the pineapples, and so forth, which are coming from Kenya, are far better than our own. There is something to handle. Coming back to you, Mr. Jack Seaman, I'd like first of all to know how you have expanded your network to promote commercial agriculture through this network of the youth. And having the 7 states now, I will not override you, overdrive you. I understand you're a work in progress, but would like to know the status, the current status of this youth network and the strategy you have. That's number one. Number two, we tend to operate without appreciating our history, especially of what used to be agricultural cooperatives, which used to unite together some groupings of people. I don't know whether you have anything in its theory and practice to, appreciate the revival of these cooperatives. Then number three, the practicability of value addition and the initiative or the support by the region and also the nation injecting money into this. To what extent are we progressing? Please.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for this wonderful discussion and the question which are very good. I will start with what you ended with, the practicability of value addition. I was already talking about the industries, the strategy, the EAC strategy on industrialization in the region. All 7 partner states have shifted from subsistence, commercial, to industrialization. We have seen partner states giving land to some investors to ensure that they do value addition. And we have also seen partner states going on to invest heavily in infrastructure development to ensure that at least we have very many industries that can look at these products. You can agree with me that there has been zoning in the EAC. For example, I'll give you an example of Tanzania. There is a part of Tanzania, southern Dar es Salaam, where they are producing cashew nuts. Mm-hmm. The cashew nuts are found in Tanzania mostly. And what the government has done, they have come out to support small-scale farmers on the grassroots to ensure that they add value to their products. And after adding value, rather than selling the raw cashew nuts to South Africa, they have put a factory to make sure that they help farmers bring their cashew nuts. They buy at a certain price, and they add value, and at the end of the day, they even provide market, because the Tanzania Airlines, I think, is the largest consumer of those cashew nuts from those people. Then another thing on the practicability, I will give you an example of yellow bananas that are very common in Burundi, and they are here in Uganda. If I use my comrades' mathematics, if you have maybe a bunch of bananas, you may come out, okay, one banana may bring you maybe, you may sell it at 200, or 250. But if you cut and dry it, you may get maybe 2 packets of those crisps. And those crisps, I'm now talking about the young person who can do business to ensure that you can survive on a small scale, because I've now finished the other larger scale. That you will get, you can sell 500. That means instead of getting 200, you are going to get 1,000. And the operating costs are not a lot. Another thing is, for example, the industrialization drive we have seen Uganda as a partner state in the Teso sub-region. You know, Teju juice. Originally, we had an issue of mangoes, oranges, dry, rotting in the gardens. I know we still have some challenge, but if you visit that factory, you will agree with me that at least they have brought mangoes and they have put the factory in place to ensure that we produce juice that we can sell. And I don't know if you want me to go into the mathematics, but that's what I can tell you, that when you have, maybe if a farmer,
you can inspire us. We are dealing with the commerce, and the quantification is important.
If a farmer is producing oranges and he's maybe selling Arukundo is the one who has been in this business for fresh produce. You may get, maybe they normally see them selling a basket maybe at 2,000, but of recent we saw at the factory these people are selling maybe close to 5,000.
And one orange.
No, there's a they sell in buckets. There's small buckets. If you've driven on that route of Mbari, that there is a Tirinyi road, you've seen women selling those buckets. You can park around and you see them selling maybe 200. I used to, in 2014, I was working on a water project there, and we used even almost to get at a giveaway price. But now if you drive across there, you will realize that maybe something has changed. And maybe that one is work in progress. And another thing is on what I talked about on for example, fish, the practicability. You've seen that we are now among the global exporters of fish in the region. We have the Lake Victoria Commission, Lake Victoria Basin Commission, which is based in Kisumu, which has tried to guide the fisheries sectors in the partner states to ensure that rather than selling raw fish, why can't you add value to ensure that we export finger fillets and maybe to those countries in Europe to ensure, because we have, I think, some rare species of fish here in East African community, and recently you have seen the fight where Chinese come to buy our fish here and they are running for it. Of course, there is something inside. I don't know if Rukundo, you know it, the Baganda call it a noni, but I don't know what it is in English, doctor. But that's something that is used also to, some people say, in the pharmaceutical industry. People are using these products to ensure that maybe they make medicines, and maybe they make some other products that the varied people are talking about. Then when you go to the strategy by the network, the East Africa Youth Network is the voice of the private sector, youth in private sector, youth in business in the region. And as I told you, we have a group, a network of youth in business. What we did with support from the GIZ, German Corporation, and East African Science and Technology Commission, we came up with the East African Science and Technology strategy. This strategy was designed in 2018 to ensure that we put the innovation at the forefront to accelerate the socio-economic transformation and integration in the region. And what is done here is that they map out young people who are in business, they mentor them. After mentoring them, they give them seed capital, and of course working with the partner states agendas. I know the government projects, some of them have, have been grossly misused, but for this particular ESC, and that's what we are doing here at Hotel Africana, to award the young innovators who are into business.
Are they coming from across the
Yes,
whole country,
yes.
145 districts?
This is, I'm talking about the whole region, the 7 partner states.
Okay.
And now
Each district in the region is represented.
Yes, because this is a grassroots movement, the youth in the Juakari sector, because we believe that this strategy is a pro-people strategy. It is deepening the integration and widening the cooperation using the people-to-people integration, not just talking, but we want people to be at the forefront of integration, and you see the young people are the ones who are the bigger population. So this strategy is targeting young people to empower them, because you have seen some of the challenges we are facing, even mindset change. Someone has 8 million, he wants to buy a visa and maybe an air ticket to go, rather than starting a business here with selling tomatoes and you can maybe grow. So we have come with that strategy. First of all, to map out young people who are doing business. Secondly, to train them. Thirdly, to give them seed capital. Like now, young people will be getting $10,000 tomorrow at Kororo.
How many?
We are starting with 6. Yes, each one from each partner state. But this is now like the climax. But there are those other ones, $10,000 with 34 million. But we have partnered with MasterCard Foundation to give small seed capital of 3,000, that is 12 million, 8 million, depending on the project you've brought. Because we believe that these social ideas are the ones that are going to promote, to put the ESC at the forefront of economic stability. Because we are really lagging behind when you look at our GDPs, and we believe that we must be an economy that produces. We don't want to produce paper like when you're doing PhD, you just produce a research paper and we publish and go. But we are saying we are turning from publishing into products. If you're a university professor, we don't want your paper, we want a product. Yeah, come out and make sure that these young people are bringing products. And after that, the ESC has also put the online market linkages, because we realize that there will be a market boom. For example, if you look at Rwanda, Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya, in the startups that are coming up in Africa, we are among I think the top 5. And of course, before, I think Tanzania is the one whose economy didn't decline because of COVID. But in the region, we are at least, of course, the factors of data withstanding, because I know you will tell me, but is this data real on ground? Yes. Yeah, that one you can also put it into a context, and the economist will tell us, Mr. Rukundo. But me, what I'm going with is the data that we have at the moment that shows that our GDP is growing, our young people are involved, and we want to ensure.
Strategy? Yeah, you're also expanding the strategy.
And I was actually talking on the strategy. I don't want to run away from it. That when these young people are developing, are contributing to the GDP, they are the ones now into innovation, and we support them with money. We have the markets, online markets, to link them up. We are removing all visa fees. We are removing all market barriers, non-tariff barriers, the NTBs, this East Africa Youth Network led by Rukundo have been doing a research on the NTBs, non-tariff barrier, how we can remove them, to ensure that even after when we have done all this, can we trade with each other? Because we still have a challenge of mindset change, where young people believe that the products that are coming from South Africa are better than the ones in Kigezi, that they are the ones in maybe Gitega in Burundi, or maybe Goma in DRC. So we also have that challenge, and we also brought the Build by East Africa, Build East Africa, that is being championed by
Uganda.
It's the same, because we are the same people. That is being championed by the East African Community Business Council, to ensure that once we have brought all these youth together, they have made their products. We are promoting collaborative competition. Now let's also promote intra-trade between each other, because if you look at South Sudan, how it is trading with DRC, it is not good compared to what it is doing with China and even us here. So those are the things that we are doing. Now on the last one, I totally agree with you on the cooperatives. Kenya is doing it very well. It's promoting cooperatives. Rwanda is promoting cooperatives, and we are seeing they are working very well. Burundi has come out very strongly. We were there over recent years for cooperatives. Tanzania, you know, their own Jama strategy. They have been promoting their own, but the challenge maybe is with Uganda here. We need to come out and revive our cooperatives, and I think the government, I don't talk on behalf of government, but I believe maybe they are thinking about it, because if we are to gain from the common market, now you see we are now even the common market of East Africa, now they have brought in this African Free Continental Trade Area. If we are to gain from it, we must first work on our house.
I hope you are going to be a good advocate for that, because the reason why I'm posing a bit on it and making a commentary, we tend to be running behind every other time in these matters. And Kenya, as you said, it goes ahead. You hear Tanzania the last time, they became a middle income status country. Then Rwanda is running at lift speed. I want to not spare any word with those whom you've talked about, and you say, no, we are slow. You do open them, you say you are slow. You are
yeah,
not.
That's yes. Very true. I agree that we are very slow when it comes to promoting issues that affect the grassroots person as Uganda, because we are looking at our policies on the regional level. Our policies are not favoring citizens. Our policies are maybe favoring even foreigners more than us. And I think it's high time the government came up with a good strategy. It starts with the human resource. We should not take jobs for money. This is where we need to be patriotic and put our country at the forefront. Even when you see negotiations in this in the EAC meeting, someone from Rwanda will be negotiating for a meeting to ensure that when meeting happens in Rwanda, people will sleep in hotels and leave their money. There will be money in their economy. But the Ugandan will be maybe negotiating for one position or maybe something. And this one, I think we must work on it. I have to be very honest that I'm not the best in patriotism, but I believe we can do better to ensure that we go and we compete favorably with our partners.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Before we go for the break, Mr. Rukundo, you see the regional coordinator has given us a big picture, but there is something which is not yet accomplished that we'd like also to look at. In the East Africa, as you network with East Africa and you specifically in Uganda, of course I'm not referring you as a government. I know you are playing a role in the civil society aspect as you try to mobilize the youth. We've had good policies before, and some are still existing but duplicated. This I'm saying it as a public policy analyst. We had National Agriculture Extension Services, which were supporting formation of groups, possibly which would have led to even formation of cooperatives. And in the extension services, as he was talking about a number of enterprises, the framework was clear. Now this is existing, but in reality on the ground, it is duplicated and undermined. How do you think we are going to bridge that gap and bring an awakening, other than duplicating in with it? This is the number of different other programs which come like this. We're a bit, some of us as we are following in our ages we are a bit not yet sure of how we are achieving what we are expected to achieve.
Thank you so much, Doctor. For me, I always find challenges with leadership of different governments, especially in the area of policy, because why do you come up with a policy, first of all, that you do not want to implement, and then use your reason of not implementing it to duplicate it? In this case, government comes up with a program to help the young people. Because we have had several programs like the YLP, in yoga, now they are bundling us into PDM. But first evaluate what YLP has done, what are the challenges that it has faced.
Youth program.
Yes, how can we improve this policy? But for us, I don't think we reach at that level of evaluating policies. What we do, we actually replace the policies or duplicate. Yes, duplicate actually. We duplicate those policies as a way of finding solutions or finding solution for the assumed failed policy. Because for me, I tend also to disagree with government on some of the policies that it normally phases out on assumption that the policy has failed to work. The policy fails from the initial stages of actually making it. Because we were also currently, I used to be part of the youth structure of this country, the National Youth Council. So when they were trying to come up with YLP, so we were having discussion within us. The policy came up when actually with the young people who were not consulted. Yet the policy is intending to help the young people. Then the policy had gaps of bringing 12 young people who are into different actually activities. I am interested in riding a border, the other are interested in farming. So, but you also bring us together, giving us 12 million, that you go and start a piggery. But there are those who are not interested, who have no, actually, there's no training done, there's no nothing done. Then after you expect that project to work, it won't work. Because the people who are in that project, one, majority have no interest in that particular project that they are starting. Secondly, those young people are not like-minded. They are not focusing on one thing. They are not skilled, they are not trained to do that particular project. So for me, I think, I don't know whether it is deliberate, but we really need honest leaders who are actually intentional to really uplift the livelihood of our young people. Because when you come up with a policy, you should make sure that the policy works, evaluate it with the implementers, identify the gaps, and address the gaps. As simple as that.
Thank you. We are going for the commercial break. I believe everyone will be taking the point home. We must be deliberate. We must be able to be focused, especially the government, in supporting the commercialization of agriculture, coming up with some programs, not to duplicate them, but to evaluate and come up with strategic actions that can be meaningful for the empowerment of the population in productivity, agricultural productivity and innovation. Stay tuned, we are coming back.